Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. We review anything and everything. And today we're getting into this Jurassic World Rebirth figure review. This is the, I know I'm going to pronounce this wrong before I even get into the name. I'm going to say this is part of the gigantic Thrashers set or line. And this is the Chilantalsaurus. I've never tried that before, so hopefully it came out okay. Now, this dinosaur looks to be, he doesn't have a large claw on his toe, so I don't think he's part of the raptor family. I never heard of this dinosaur before. Before we get into the dinosaur himself, we are going to get into the box. Now, as you can see here, you have the up and down motion, and we're going to turn the box around, and often you'll sometimes have two different types of action features on these. And here you can see two total thrashing action. You've got, it says all around chomp. You got the up and down, and then you have the rotating for the tail, giving you two different dynamics. And a lot of the dinosaurs lately figures that they had will have the double action, or maybe they're all part of the gigantic Thrashers line, and that's what it was. This one right here, I just previously reviewed, so it's going to be very similar to that. And this dinosaur is actually a pretty nice size. I would give it that, probably within that kind of smaller medium range. And here you can see he's got this kind of high pose going on here. We're going to straighten him out a little bit more. Now, also too, little note, I've recently have been playing around with different lighting setup. Obviously, you guys would have seen the review of me getting new lighting equipment. So I'm playing around with what works best. So please bear with me as I try to kind of get things into a space where the lighting feels nice and natural, not overpowering, yet still works for what we're trying to do here. So this dinosaur right here, let's zoom in extra close and get a little bit of look at some of these details. So you see he's got the painting coming on the top, and then on his head, nice red eye. Always a fan of these teeth. Let me zoom it out a little bit because I think I'm a little too zoomed in. The teeth right here, separate mold, and that's now a staple of moving forward in all of the Jurassic lines. And it's great because that didn't come from the Hammond collection. You had the rubber teeth come from the evolution of the T-Rex line, because they always kept making a lot of new figures with the T-Rex line. You got the red going down there. And that was always a thing of evolving the T-Rex until finally you got to the point where you just started trickling that down to everything else. So funny enough, it wasn't in the Hammond collection line. It wasn't starting the Hammond collection line because a lot of Hammond collection didn't even have that either. And then finally when they started getting to that point, it was. Now you see he's got his paint comes a little bit over here, but it doesn't go further down this way, which sometimes I like to argue that when you have an action feature in the tail, that sometimes that might actually be a better thing, because if you're grabbing all the time, it's going to fade. But I don't know. Some people still feel a certain way about that. This is interesting. He's got these claws, these hind claws going like that. Now, like I said, I don't really know much on this dinosaur, but it is interesting that that is there. And if that would normally be the case, definitely a dinosaur I think is worth looking into, just because it definitely has almost like this raptor feel, almost like a Utahraptor feel, but who knows? So let's check out the action feature. So you have the up and down, which is nice, and you see the hand movement as well. And then we do the side to side. Which doesn't really move the hands, but I think there's a slight bit of movement only because that same motion is somewhat tied into this. So definitely a nice figure, and if you get them on sale, I think it really works. A lot of times these figures are always on sale, and it's a nice buy. Link's going to be in the description down below for Amazon, though I don't know if it's on Amazon, because a lot of these figures are exclusive to Target, which it's not all the time, but is definitely something that's interesting. So in addition to that, I'm going to bring out this man for scale. I forget his name. He's part of the Jurassic World Rebirth. He's the main antagonist. I don't know his name off the top of my head. When I always use my Owen figure, I was always able to say, here goes Owen for scale. I can't say that for this guy because I don't know his name. But with this different camera angle that I'm using, now. Normally I'd be a little bit more higher up. This allows me to have it right in frame. So you got to kind of see the height levels. So I think that you guys get a good sense of that. And we are going to do our measurements. Now, everyone knows watching this channel, I love to get in, I love scale. So that is what we're going to jump into. This is I would say he's exactly 14 inches. And if I do his measurement at the top of his head, he's 6 inches. So what we're looking at is he's 22.4 feet long, and the 6 inches puts him at 9.6 feet tall. So 9.6 feet tall and 22.5 feet long, roughly. So he's definitely pretty big. And one thing they've gotten better at doing when it comes to the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World line of figures is, along with obviously the upgrades that came with the teeth, they've gone better with the scaling or the size ratio of the feet. And they've also gotten better with the tail length being, you know, more proper in length to where they used to be. They used to always be bad about having short tails. But one thing they did to kind of remedy that, I feel, is one, you have these boxes that are a little more open now, so you got more room for the tail to kind of just spread out. But two, in general, they just really do try to make longer tails. And if you got to piece them together out, you know, after you open the box, they do that. But definitely, because you could see out of 14 inches, the tail is about 5.5 inches, and that's not including the little curve, which would probably bring it to about 6 inches almost if you straightened out that curve. So at that length and being 14 inches, the tail is equating to a little bit more than 1/3 the length of the dinosaur. And I definitely feel that that is proper scaling for most of these dinosaurs. Some rare dinosaurs have the tail being like 50% of their length, but I definitely think that that is such an improvement that you do nowadays, and it's such a big deal. Yeah, and as always, you guys, like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.